To say we're excited to talk to our next guest is an understatement of pretty massive proportions, but he's sitting in front of us and it's a bit of a trip.
That's right. Slash has a brand new album out. You have to pick it up. It is absolutely amazing. How are you?
All right, Slash.
Good.
Good. Now, first solo, has this sort of always been in your mind and took you a while to get to, or is it sort of, sort of something you came to a little bit late?
It was, basically, I did a sort of autobiography kind of thing a little while back in 2007, and when I was at the tail end of writing that, I started thinking of something I'd like to do, or things I might be doing in the future, and I came up with this idea that I'd like to do a record where I got to get everybody to play on my record as opposed to me playing on theirs. That was the nucleus of the idea, and then in 2000, I guess it was 2008, when the last Velvet Revolver tour ended, I was like, you know what, at this point I really need to do something on my own. Just sort of be the captain of my own ship, because anybody who knows Velvet Revolver, that last couple of years was insane.
Now, when you're talking about names that you see on the album, Ozzy Osbourne, Iggy Pop, you've got Fergie, Adam Levine. You'd think that that would be a logistical nightmare.
Yeah,
but how did it all work out?
It worked out great. It was really easy. I never even stopped to think that I was putting together, really what it turned out to be 19 different singers. Like that seems like
and not a rookie in the bunch,
an insane task. But it was just a lot of fun. I wrote a bunch of material. I had stuff that I'd written during the tour. I had new stuff that I was writing at the moment, and I put it all together, and I thought about who would sound good on each song.
Yeah.
Just anybody. I mean, just one specific voice that would sound good on the material. And I started compiling all that, and then I just started making those phone calls.
When you look down that list, man, this is a huge compliment to the work that you've done in rock and roll, that these people were just, yeah, man, for sure, I'd love to do it.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of different dynamics going on with some of these people. Some of them I've known for a really long time, and it's sort of like, as the producer, Eric Valentine, say, the currency is music. So like favors and this and that and the other, it's sort of like the easiest way to pay back a favor is just to go and perform something. So I might have played with them on something and got them in turn to play on something of mine. And then there was
Ozzy, you remember that party? Remember what I saw you did?
Well,
Dude, you owe me.
In all honesty, I think of Ozzy the most because Ozzy's the kind of guy that you'd be really hard-pressed to get him to do anything. And I think it was because there had been a couple favors that I'd done for him that I'd never even thought of as favors, but he really appreciated them. And so he actually stopped working on his records so he could take time out to do this one song.
We never had computers when we were a lad. We just put a bucket of coal in the back of the desk and got on with it.
I thought, why did he do that? Oh, I guess it's because I showed up for this thing.
And you never think of it.
No, I mean, but he's a good friend, and I think he might have even done it if I'd never done that for him.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Now, Fergie would be the one that stands out as the unexpected voice, but you have a huge appreciation for pop music. Obviously, you've played with Michael Jackson, you've done a lot of other things outside of rock, but why Fergie for this album?
Because she's a badass rock singer.
I'm like an engineer's nightmare. My voice is like my personality, very challenging.
And I discovered that a few years ago. I did a Black Eyed Peas fundraiser for Peapod, which is this school function that they do where they give money to schools to get musical equipment. So they asked me to play, and I showed up at soundcheck, and they said, okay, this is the idea. We have this rock medley in the set, and Fergie's going to sing it. And I never even met Fergie. I didn't even know what a Fergie was at that time. And,
Fergie, mommy?
Yeah.
Little sunken thing walks in.
And then she showed up, and we belted out these songs, and I was just blown away.
I ain't easy, I ain't sleazy. I got reasons why I tease them. Boys just come and go like seasons.
So we got to know each other, and it turns out that, for all intents and purposes, she's a rock singer gone pop. And so she really enjoyed the opportunity to bring her roots out.
Kisses. That puts them boys on rock, and they be lining down the block just to watch what I got.
she's been around the block a few times. We have similar experiences, you know, coming down, going up that road.
Read the autobiography.
You know,
right.
so,
Are you still chewing the Nicorette gum?
I am.
Yeah? Good on you. How long have you been a non-smoker for?
It's been a year and 6 months.
But that's a great thing that you've managed to do that, because in your
hard.
business it's a given, the smoking or whatever.
It's hard. I find I'm chewing the gum all the time, because if I'm not chewing the gum, I'd want a cigarette. You know? I don't like waiting for that to pass. You know?
How are you enjoying performing? The concerts here in Vancouver are both sold out. Obviously, people are dying to see you, but how are you enjoying it?
I'm having a blast. This has been the most fun I've had touring since the early Guns days.
You'll have to carry me back from Cali. I don't care if you think I'm to blame. You'll have to carry.
I got a great bunch of guys who just live and breathe rock and roll, and this is all they want to do.
Guy with a pretty deep Vancouver base too.
Yeah, well, yeah, Todd, yeah. And then Miles Kennedy, who's an amazing singer, like one of the best. I don't want to say new, but he's new to me.
On this,
yeah. And we're just out there having the best time, and the response has been fantastic.
Is that for you maybe part of it, because it is solo and it's maybe the first time you've done it, and so you get to appreciate it on a different level, I guess, maybe? Or
I don't think it has anything to do with that. It just really boils down to just, having a great time doing whatever it is that you're doing. And there's no unnecessary BS going on. What I'm familiar with is having, one or more guys, usually one, that just tries to make it, something that should be a great experience, as difficult as possible.
So what's next for you after you complete the tour with this album? Because you always seem to have the next step planned. What's going on next?
Well, I mean, like I said, the Velvet Revolver thing, so I'd like to see a record come out of that.
Yeah, man, so would I.
And then additionally, I want to do a solo record and just work with Miles.
And it's no surprise. I should have known it from the start.
And just have him as the one singer on it.
Would you guys form as a new band, or?
I don't know what we would do. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah, but I mean, the first step is really having that feeling, right? That someone that you want to work with.
Well, that's the thing, is when you feel inspired to do something, you have to take action, because there's always these sort of peaks and valleys, and I think what happens, you get so frustrated in the lowest point of the valley that something happens that makes this great peak, and everybody gets really into it for a minute. Then the industry gets a hold of it. They make about 20 dozen copies of it, and everything gets homogenized and it goes back down again.
Yeah.
So
it's a mad world.
Through all that, I just sort of do what I do, and I managed to sort of
I got to say, this album and the Velvet Revolver work that you've done in the past, man, really
Thank you.
Inspired me. I know they're great albums all the way along.
And congrats on the album. Make sure that you pick it up.
I'm growing my hair. Starting today.
Mike, your street. You know you are.
I know. Damn it, there's rock and roll in here.
Oh, great. It's nice talking to you guys.
Thank you very much.
Loving the album. And thanks so much to Slash. One of those surreal experiences sitting down and talking to someone like him.
Such a good dude, though.
Dude.
And if you notice, when the Canucks played the LA Kings at their home opener October 12th, Slash was featured playing the U.S. national anthem.
Best anthem I have ever heard.
I thought it was pretty awesome. So anyway, we just wanted to show you that. That's on his website if you want to go and watch the whole thing, because he did an excellent job. What else would you expect?
I love that you said Slash did an excellent job.
Good job, Mr. Slash.
We're going to take a break, and when we return, you'll recognize her from Video on Trial. Deborah DiGiovanni will be joining us right after this. Stay tuned.